We are live.
Just forgot my water. Same on my computer. Same one as on the computer, yeah. Okay. This is fancy.
If you're gonna give us this, then I go and pick up mine.
Official business,
Yeah.
So I shouldn't, they should not do one.
Or then not put another one, yeah.
Yeah.
I meant Oh, that's, that was. Oh, yes,
We can't take you anywhere, can we?
right here.
Can't believe Phyllis lets you out in public.
There you go.
All right, well, we may as well get started.
Yes, sir.
If everybody please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty.
Okay, just so everybody knows, we do have Counselor Anderson on Zoom tonight. So she is joining us remotely. And then at this point, I would invite public comment on agenda items only. Please remember to keep your comments under 5 minutes. Keep them to agenda items and keep them clean and respectful. So at this time, is there anybody who'd like to comment on agenda items? Yes, Gina.
Gina Sather, 33229 Marble Street, Echo.
Would you please speak to the mic? Thank you.
Okay, did it? Gina Sather, 33229 Marble Street, Echo. Okay, I would like to briefly share my thoughts regarding the appointment to replace Tammy Williams on the council. I want to respectfully remind the council that your role is to represent the residents of Echo. With that in mind, I believe Jeannie Hampton would be a strong choice for this position. Jeannie is a longtime resident of Echo, a former teacher in the Echo School District, and a former mayor of this town. She is well-known, approachable, and connected to the community through her volunteer work at His Design and her involvement in the local church. She understands the people of Echo, the needs of this community, and the responsibility of city government. In a small town like ours, having someone who is experienced, accessible, and invested in the well-being of the community is extremely important. After writing these remarks about 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon, I began thinking about how I could show you that the community supports Jeannie. So I went out and spoke with people in town and gathered signatures. Before I ran out of daylight, I collected 70 signatures from residents who agreed with a simple statement that Jeannie Hampton would be the best choice for counselor at this time. In a small town like Echo, 70 signatures gathered in just a few hours represents a significant show of community support. I hope the council will keep the voice of the community in mind as you make this decision. Many residents care deeply about who represents them. This appointment is an opportunity for the council to show that the voices of Echo residents truly matter. For those reasons, I strongly encourage you to consider appointing Jeannie to this position. On a different subject, I would also like to briefly remind the council that the land use attorney previously suggested keeping the zoning as it currently exists when it comes to open space area. While the map identifies the area as permanent open space, the wording does not. Does not currently appear in the comprehensive plan itself. It may be worth considering whether the language of permanent open space should be reinserted in this plan so the map and the written documents are consistent, and so the city is not left open to potential challenges through NEPA. Many residents have expressed concerns about the property in that area and the importance of protecting it. I hope those concerns will be listened to by the council. I have the signatures, real simple, just said, we agree, Jeannie Hampton will be the best choice for city council at this time. I also have, just wrote up a couple things that I think could be easily dropped into the plan for permanent open space.
Thank you, Gina. Hey, anyone else have a comment on an agenda item? You haven't been recognized, sir.
Can I go?
Yes, you may.
Okay, thanks, buddy. All right, Justin Morris, 431 West Halsted. What is this? Where's it at? The cleanup that's going on, when is that again? What's the date for that?
April 15th through the 20th.
Okay, we should have everything from the fire department cleaned up over there for dumpsters or whatever is going on.
Oh, okay, so they can put them over.
The
where
trailer
your
should
stuff
be
is.
gone, so I was just gonna give you guys an update on that, and
Okay.
we're gonna have an open house on March 28th of this month for the new station.
And what are the hours of that, Justin?
11 to 2.
11 to, okay, that wasn't in the bill. So we need to make sure we get that posted out on Facebook and on the website.
Yeah, 3
11
hours.
to 2, okay?
Yep.
Cool. That was a question my grandson had.
Okay,
He
yeah.
wants to go see a fire truck.
So I just want to let everybody know that the community is invited to that, and I wanted to let you guys know that all the trailers should be out of the way for whatever is gonna happen that day.
Cool.
All right, that's it. That's
Thanks,
all I got.
Justin.
All right, cool. I
Perfect.
gotta go.
Yes, Phyllis. You are recognized. You have been so recognized.
So recognized. Oh, my God. Phyllis Shabelsky, 221 West Main, Echo. I, at some point, would like to discuss the cleanup, but I certainly appreciate former Mayor Hampton throwing her hat in the ring. I don't believe that 10% of the community is speaking for everybody in Echo. I do believe that bringing new people onto council, such as Joan, would be a really good idea because we have fresh eyes and fresh ideas. And so I hope that's taken into consideration when the council votes for a replacement on the city council.
Thank you, Phyllis. Anyone else? Comments on agenda items? Yes, Michael?
Mike Duffy, box 127. May I ask a clarification first? At one point, it was very clear we had to use our mailing address when we introduced ourselves. At another point, it was like, okay, just say where you live. Is there really a proper way to address your residents when you make a statement like this?
It just says address, could be mailing or physical would work.
Either one's okay?
Either one would be fine.
Okay. I recommended these microphones. Sure 58s are the best they give. Regarding the MOU to approve the VFW for use by the community church. This would be for the food pantry, of course. And recall when pantry first moved away from where they were over to there, it was kind of a big deal, you know, where we're going to put the pantry. And it's worked out really great. So I wanted to say that I don't know if there are any new terms in there or not. I sent a copy of the old agreement over to Jerry. I didn't know if we got to Jeannie or not, but I understood they were going to be about the same. And so if that's the case, then I would offer my support for such an agreement. The pantry is something I've had mixed feelings about since the beginning. But I've learned to appreciate that this is a really good thing for our community. Regarding the appointment, I endorse Joan due respect to former Mayor Hampton. Two things about Joan. When she came in here and offered, I don't know if she did many of those comments or not. First thing she said was, well, I read both proposals. I said, I've seen the proposals. They're huge. And I have these remarks, and she laid them out there in just the most intelligent and compassionate way. Honest. I thought, whoa, here's a capable lady. Seen her around socially a couple times. One time, Phyllis thought I had gangrene in my toe. And we were talking about this before we went up there. There was a little black mark on it, but it was, I didn't think. And so I saw Joan on the way to it. Now, she doesn't really know me. I don't know her well. But I said, would you do me a favor? Phyllis thinks this toe is gangrenous. And she looks at that toe and she goes, can I touch it? Now, I was thinking like you are, you know, that's a big old guy. That foot is going to stink. By God, she got down there and she looked at that toe. She says, you don't have gangrene. A nurse and a very capable soul, someone who is genuinely concerned. Not to say that Mrs. Hampton isn't. Lord knows she's had decades of that. I'm still favoring Joan this time. Cleanup day. All I want to say is thank you for doing it again. And let us know what we can do. This is something that was started. A little bit of history. How am I doing in my 5 minutes? Huh? Good. You're not timing me anymore. So
Oh, I got you on the clock. Don't you worry. The
Okay.
ticker might be gone, but
is it? Okay. We did the first cleanup day when Kiwanis first started, we thought. And then Diane got up to serve. She was in charge of lunch and she brought hot dogs. Before she would serve the hot dogs, she stood up before the group and kind of called us all to order. We had 30 volunteers that day. She said, the last time we had one of these, there was only 3 people. And they all worked for the city. That's why we had to quit. I didn't even know there was a last time. Any volunteer effort is kind of a delicate situation. Well, we had several, and I was so relieved when the council voted to pick up the ball on cleanup day. I think it's nothing but good for this community for a few hours, with or without the lunch. I hope you do have a lunch though. And thank you for entertaining the motion.
thank you, Michael. Any other comment on agenda items? Yes, sir. You've been duly recognized.
Thank you. Mike Marcy, Driver 10 North Bonanza. I didn't see this on the MOU for the VFW hall for the, again, it's for the use of Chester's Food Pantry. I'm the chairperson of Chester's Food Pantry. I've been a part of it now for, I think, 10 years. It's been around for 14 or longer than I've been a part of it. But I just kind of want to let you know what Chester's Food Pantry does. Right now, on average, we provide about 50 boxes to residents of Echo and Stanfield, Little Hermiston too, but those really pale in comparison. The majority of the people that we help are residents of Echo. And I just very much appreciate you allowing us to use that building. I know we kind of take up that whole one side of it, and we operate the last Wednesday of the month, distributing boxes. And just want to thank you for that. And please, thank you very much for that. As long as I'm here, I've known Jeannie Hampton for over 20 years. She's absolutely wonderful. We work together closely with Food Pantry now. So if I was to endorse somebody, I would endorse Jeannie Hampton. Thank you
Thank you,
very
Mike.
much. Yeah.
Any other comment on agenda items? Nope. Okay, then we will move on. Thank you, everyone. So now we're on to council minutes from February 10th. Yes, Maria.
On the section where we had to approve of the land use hearing minutes.
Uh-huh.
I guess not. I'm thinking about when we did the voting on it. I voted no and it was put yes.
On the ordinance or the minutes?
It was in the ordinance.
Okay, so let's go to the ordinance.
Oh, yeah, it's right here, right?
No, we didn't have a vote on the ordinance. That was just the reading.
There was something we voted.
We voted on the minutes for the last land use hearing. And we voted to approve those minutes, but we had voted previously during the land use hearings itself to either approve or deny the changes, but that's
wasn't
been a
on
few
this?
meetings ago.
Okay.
So the ordinance was just the reading of the ordinance. It was not a vote to enact it as law. Any other discussion on
I was
that?
trying to find
I can't find my minutes. My eyes are all red, allergies. But I thought at the beginning, it said something like, people who were here, I think it said Eric Hampton. Was there an Eric Hampton here or was it Eugenia?
I'm guessing it
I
was.
remember I saw that, but I can't find
Yes,
it out.
Yeah, it does say
say Eric
yeah.
Hampton, so that would need to be
That's all I-
revised. I bet you your wonderful spell check did that for you.
Yeah, I bet you did. No. I'll get that fixed.
Other than that.
So it's on
Okay.
the roll call on number two.
Yeah, number two.
Public in
I remember
attendance.
seeing
Oh, I see.
Second.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Oh, yeah, I see it.
mhm.
I'll get that fixed.
Well, I think Barzee was spelled wrong too, isn't it?
I don't know how to spell it.
Barzee.
Now you're gonna get me in trouble.
Sorry. I've been a secretary too many years. Spelling the names is important.
I'll get that right.
Anything further on the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from February 2026 with the corrections.
I second it.
Okay, Jesse made a motion to approve the council minutes as amended from February 10th, 2026. Janie has seconded. Richard, your vote?
Yes.
Janie, your vote?
Yes.
Jesse, your vote?
Yes.
Maria, your vote?
Yes.
Berlin, your vote?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you. Okay. Now we are on to the second reading of the ordinance. to adopt the comprehensive plan, development code, and zoning map. I'll remind everybody that this has already passed once in the planning commission. Now all this does is make it law. So with your permission, I'll just read the title, if it's okay with you, or I can read the entire ordinance.
And Mayor, if I may, I was talking to Carla McLean today. I think she's here.
She did.
Okay, perfect. So a couple people reached out to me in the public and made me aware that I don't know if you could characterize it as a discrepancy, but our zoning map talks about something that is not within the code itself. So I would, before I get ahead of myself, I wanted Carla to jump in and talk a little bit about permanent open space versus open space, because on our zoning map, we have permanent open space. But it's not reflected in the code itself. So before we codify this and then we have to go back and do it again, I wanted to make sure we're all in alignment and, make sure that Carla has a chance to weigh in, just so we don't have to go back and do it again. So
Right.
if you don't mind.
No, I don't mind. I do have a comment though about that because I've asked the same
Yeah.
question. And Carla would give a better answer than this, but as I understood it, the map is just a map. It's not a legal document, whereas the code is a legal document. And so the key to the map is just that, a key to the map. So what it says doesn't necessarily reflect what is actually in the code, but.
And I think before we codify it and vote on it, I at least wanted to have that discussion.
Okay.
Because, I've heard several things, I've done my research as well, but I wanted to hear from Carla before the body made a decision, and then we could decide, or you guys can decide, what ultimately you like to do.
So Carla, did you want to come up and address the council, or did you want to do it from your seat there? It would probably.
Do it from my seat, but.
Richard has a hard time hearing, so if we could utilize a microphone. I think that would help him.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
No problem. So Carl McLean, your contract planner. Good evening. I'm not going to completely agree with you, Mayor. The map does have an order of law about it,
Okay.
once adopted. I think you could direct staff to do one of two things tonight and still adopt. You could either identify that you want to change the map, so the map is consistent with the ordinance, or you could direct staff to change the ordinance to be consistent with the map. I think consistent is better. I think there's a real misunderstanding about the difference between the terminology, permanent open space and open space. To some degree, it's a word, but that word does have some legal meaning. And when you apply some type of zoning regulation to property and you want it to be that way forever and ever, you probably need to make sure that the people that own it and do activities on it agree with that. And in this particular case, there is only one parcel of all the parcels that are identified on the map as permanent open space or in the code as open space that is owned by a public agency that you could actually enforce permanence on. And that's yourself. Every other parcel that is impacted is owned by a private individual. And they do have certain rights under the law. And if you want to make this permanent, I would encourage you to make sure they're comfortable with that designation being on there and making it permanent. Now, permanent is never permanent because any one of those landowners could come in the day after the code that you adopt is official, and they could apply for a change in zoning. And they would have every right to do that. And if they wanted to call it green property and give you a zoning code to go with the designation, you could adopt that, you could approve that, or you could approve it to be commercial or industrial or residential, consistent with your already adopted code. So I can't say that I would encourage you to take a moment and direct staff to make a change to one document or the other. I think you are well within your right to do that when you make your motion to adopt this adopting ordinance, to correct that, treat it as a Scrivener's error and ask staff to fix the problem. But I think you should be conscious of your determination if you make the choice to use the word permanent. In other words, if you change the code to add the word permanent, what are the legal ramifications of that? A simpler fix, and I think a more consistent fix with the law, would be to not use the term permanent. And I don't know if your attorney's in the room tonight or not, but if she is, you may want her to.
She was gonna try to make it, but I don't,
I
I've been so busy. I don't think Jennifer's
Okay.
here.
But that would be my comment on that. As far as everything else, you've gone through the process, you've vetted it. I'm not going to tell you you're not going to be back doing some amendment to that code probably within the next 6 months. We'll find something that's not working. We'll find something that's going to be a hiccup. We can certainly fix things at that point in time as well. But as of now, I would encourage you to go one way or the other. I'm not going to tell you what way to go. That is a policy decision. I've given you my thoughts on it. You're welcome to take those under advisement, but you can certainly treat it as a Scrivener's error and direct staff to fix one document or the other prior to it being posted as an adopt. And your adopting ordinance has a 30-day provision until it's effective based on your charter, as I understand. So we certainly have the time to make that Scrivener's error change on either document before they're posted as adopted documents. Happy to
So-
answer any questions.
Go ahead, Jesse.
I just have a question. So either way we decide, and then we do change it down the road, how long does that process take? Like,
Oh, if you want to change any of these 3 documents, you're looking at a full pop-up process. So you'd be
Mhm.
making a process that would at a minimum be 120 days.
okay,
Because you'd have to do notice to DLCD 35 days prior to first hearing. You'd have both a planning commission and a city council hearing, and then you'd go through the adopting ordinance process
Okay.
as well.
for the ordinance and the map, right? Okay,
Right, for whichever
either
one you
one,
chose
yeah.
to change at some future date. Yep.
okay. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
And Carla, I did some research into permanent open space because I've been getting the same questions from folks. And I found that that's mostly reserved, although not always, but mostly reserved for things like wildlife sanctuaries, wetlands preserve areas, watersheds,
Parks.
those kind of parks, those kind of things, and not generally private property.
Right.
and-
That is the issue.
Yeah, and those types of designations like watersheds and conservation easements and that kind of stuff allow public access.
Mhm.
And so I don't know if the private landowners would really want to open their ground up to that. So
I believe some of them between the canals have posted their property, no trespassing. Mhm.
So that would be just.
And
present a
that's
whole nother-
contrary to your open space could be contrary to your open space designation.
Right. Very good. Any other questions for Carla?
Well, I
Mary,
have
go ahead.
something. Since we started this, I'm on the cemetery board, and I found out that part of the cemetery drops down below the furnished ditch into the open space, to the permanent anyway. And so we might need to discuss that some more, find out exactly what's going on.
Well,
Because
Dave
that's
addressed
a
that.
permanent That's,
Yeah, and Dave,
Echo is, the cemetery is community use.
Right.
It's just a small area, and I think that it's still, Anderson and Perry are the ones who,
right, and Dave addressed that at the last meeting, and he said that the county map had it under a different owner than what you
no,
guys
that
were
was,
saying.
that was 3 different tracks up above the cemetery. Rick Hale did not get sent, changed over to Ag Northwest.
Mm, okay,
It's actually where he didn't get it done was on the McCallum Road.
sure.
This is separate on the other end. The furnished ditch goes through the bottom of this. This is from Pioneer Title and the Umatilla County Courthouse and Anderson and Perry.
Well,
We'll
that
have
sounds
this,
like
so
more of a
it's
boundary
something-
type of issue
Yeah, but I
though,
mean-
Jamie.
But I
So
mean,
what is that?
if you say that's all open space, that's not quite right. This little corner isn't open space or permanent. You can open it permanent. It's
Well, anything between the
it's
canals
something we should
is,
discuss before.
Yeah.
anything
we-
between the canals is open space.
I don't know, I'm just going by what we were told, the boundary lines, so it's something we should
Well, yeah,
maybe
but that's-
look into a little bit farther.
I think we're muddying the waters here a little bit, Jamie, all the property between the two canals is designated as open space regardless of who owns it. So if the cemetery owns a piece of that, then that piece that they own is open space.
But it should match the rest of the cemetery. though, not
Well,
just the open
we,
space.
yeah, we talked about that ad nauseum for 2 years. And nobody wanted to change it.
We
So
didn't know-
we're,
We didn't know until Anderson and Perry did this survey for us.
So
This was
that's
there.
a boundary issue.
Mhm.
My understanding is that the cemetery, my understanding and my conversations with Dave on that map, the cemetery district does not own any property between the two ditches. So if you now know you do, that would be a boundary issue. I don't disagree, Mayor. It's a boundary issue, probably needs to be resolved.
That's what I'm
The
saying. it
zoning
needs to be
map,
resolved.
the zoning map is not a boundary map. The zoning map applies zoning. And so if the zoning map, then if the boundary issue puts a portion of the cemetery district between the two ditches, that's a boundary issue, not a zoning issue. The zoning will be applied as it's shown on the zoning map, and that's the land from point A to point B between the two ditches. So if there is now a concern about where the cemetery property is, that's a boundary issue, and that's an issue between the cemetery district, the title company, and the assessor's office relative to how it's mapped. It is not specifically a zoning issue.
We'll pursue it, I guess.
So what I'm hearing from this is that the residents along the canal, the cemetery, and the part that the city owns, some of them have double zoning. Some's residential, and then some part of the property is zoned permanent. Right?
Right, if they
Yeah.
own property
So,
on one side
yeah.
or the other
Yeah.
of either the upper canal or the lower
Yeah.
canal, then yes, they have property that's owned.
Two different ways.
Right,
Mhm.
and so, that's something that communities often don't like to have happen either,
Mhm.
is to have a property dual zoned. Now,
Yeah.
zoning is clear, if it's above or below either canal, it's gonna be that other zoning. And the
Yeah.
stuff between the two canals is open space.
Yep.
That's fairly easy to manage. The boundary lines are clearly delineated by the canals.
Yeah.
And that means certain uses can be authorized on, again, either side
Side
of the
of the
upper or
zoning.
lower
Mhm.
canal. And they are restricted between the two canals.
Okay. And so then you're concerned how we could use the cemetery property if we zone it a certain way.
Well, that's where the burials, Chinese burials are supposed to be in there. So it's an issue, so we'll
Mhm.
work on it.
Okay. I'm just trying to get clear on both
But not,
sides.
it's not a zoning issue.
right.
It may be a historical preservation issue. It may be a lot of other things. It is not specifically a zoning issue.
Okay, then I do have a question to change the subject now. It's not subject change. It's about, they wanted to change all downtown as total commercial. To make it easier, you said.
We've
On the
been over
map.
this, Janie. We decided not to do that. It's all in the documents.
So
Well, the
the
map shows it's
property,
all
the property on
Mhm.
either side of Main Street that fronts Main Street is now commercial. The
Correct.
property as now on the backside that would front, and sorry, Bonanza, and I don't remember the other street name, Sprague, no. Bridge, yes, Bridge. Those are now on the map designated as,
Residential, commercial.
yes,
as they were before
Right.
Yeah.
all of this.
I know that. I'm talking about the houses on Main Street. There's two houses in an apartment building on Main Street.
And they've always been zoned commercial.
Yep.
Have they?
Yep.
Yes.
Really?
Even before
Huh.
this whole thing got started, they were zoned commercial.
So will they fall in that loophole that if their house burns down, if it's commercial, they cannot rebuild then?
I don't know that you had staff add that language to the commercial because.
We left that all as
Yep.
basically the same as it was.
So they
Yep.
can.
So it's the same
they
as it's
have right
always
to
been.
Appeal if they want to then?
I'm sorry, pardon?
So they have right to appeal to rebuild if their house burns down in the commercial zone? That's what I'm asking.
They can certainly come and ask the city for a variance to do that.
Okay. I'm just
In-
trying to
in
think
most
of- I'm trying
cases,
to
you
think
can-
of the future.
In most cases, you can replace a non-conforming, pre-existing non-conforming
Mhm.
use if you do it within 12 months.
Okay. That's all I have.
Good.
Just have a lot of questions.
That's all right. Get your questions answered while we're here. That's what we're doing. So to me, it seems the easiest just to change the map to reflect the code that we have already voted to approve. And if somebody wants to change the zone to permanent open space and make some sort of designation on that property, then I think it would be best for those landowners and property owners to have the right to address that. Because right now, it was proposed as open space throughout this entire process. And they had the right to, and they did come in and comment on their thoughts on open space. But they have not had the ability, nor have they had the notice to comment on us changing the code at this point to permanent open space. And so I think we'd be doing them a grave disservice at this point to not to change that to something they have no knowledge of. So I think the map would be the wisest and easiest clerical thing to change.
Yeah, can you hear me? I wanted to make a comment on that.
Sorry. Hang on a second, Berlin. Maria's going to comment and then you're next.
Oh, okay, I didn't hear her.
Wasn't that the original language
No,
before permanent space?
no, it's always been open space. It was never proposed as permanent open space ever.
Why on the map was it crossed out? When we were looking at it,
The word permanent
yes.
to match the code. Because it did not match the code.
The land.
The zoning.
And that's what we did. Yep. You guys have done that throughout this entire process, kept the open space as open space. That's it. There's no other. We're getting excited about a word that was crossed out on the map to match because we haven't ever had a map that the council has adopted. It's always been the county. And the county had it listed as permanent. The city has had it listed as open space. And to be consistent with our code, we are now adopting for the first time,
A map.
the city is adopting a zoning map. So now we have our own zoning map that was approved by the city council and the planning commission. Whereas previously, throughout our history, we've been relying on the county's map.
Actually, you've been relying on a 1970s comprehensive plan map.
Okay, thank you for the
Yeah.
correction. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
So the code has always said open space. The map has not always said open space. So that's where the issue is. So to make it right, my thought is that we should make the map match the code. Berlin?
Yeah, so I agree with you, Chad. I was just wanted to make a comment that, the people who are making the comments about it saying permanent open space are not the owners of the property. And, I just feel like that's not fair for property owners when they came in at the beginning of all this and expressed differently that they, would maybe eventually want it changed. So I feel like we should reflect the code and not have permanent anywhere. I also feel like it's not fair for other people to decide what other people's property gets zoned as. So that's my only comment there. So I agree with you, and I think we should reflect the code with our wording on the map.
Thank you, Berlin.
I also remember we also talked about leaving the zoning how it is in the code and then address it at a different time.
We can, yeah, if
Yeah.
if one of those landowners
I remember
comes to the count,
that was
comes
the
to
thing.
us and wants it to be permanent open space and have
Mhm.
that designation, then they can certainly come to the city and ask us for a zoning change. And we can go through that process to change that
Because I
zone.
remember we wanted to break
Mhm.
it up to do the comprehensive plan and then do the zoning a whole different time. Because it was too much in one go.
Right. Yeah, we were tackling a lot of zones all
Yeah.
at once, and it was recommended by the lawyer to not
Just break
tackle
it.
a lot of zones all at
Mhm.
once and to take them more on an individual basis, which is what we all agreed to do
Mhm.
when we voted to pass the proposed comprehensive plan and code. So tonight we found a discrepancy
Mhm.
that we have the ability to fix at this point, and then we also have the ability to change down the road. Like Carla said, none of this is actually permanent, like carved in stone. Things can
Yeah.
still be changed. Just because you word it one way doesn't mean it can't be changed, but it has a process that it has to go through. And we may find more discrepancies. Hopefully not, but we may find something that doesn't work, or we may have citizens that would come to us and say, hey, I own this piece of property and I'd like to have it zoned this way, or I'd like a conditional use permit, or I'd like different things. And we have that process out there for this reason.
And if the code is, how we're following our rules, we should match the map with the code. I mean, that's how I feel about it. So I don't know. If it's always said that in our code and we agreed not to change the zoning. So we're still following the same code.
Correct.
Is how I understand it.
Yes, that's how I understand it as well.
Mayor, may I ask Carla just a few questions because I'm obviously new and I want the public to be really clear. So Carla, so the open space designation, just because it's designated open space, the private landowner could come to us and get it rezoned if that fit within the comprehensive plan, obviously, and it was legal. So open space is a designation. Okay. So, and I'm taking notes, and I thought I heard you say the city has the only true permanent open space.
Right, the city does own a parcel.
Okay.
Between the two canals, and if you wanted to designate, I mean, if the city's intent was to manage that for one of those public purposes, you could designate that as permanent and because it is owned by the public,
Right.
and it would meet the spirit of that. But you've got, I'm trying to remember, I think you only have private ownership on one side. The other side might actually connect to a street, but I'm not remembering the map exactly. But access for the public to the city's parcel may be difficult or impossible. It could be
Okay.
landlocked between private ownership.
Okay.
So its utilization might be for habitat, but you may not be able to create a walking path on it or something like that without the consent of all of the other landowners that own the property
Right.
between the two ditches.
And just one more question. So most of the land, and I've got our map pulled up that's on our website right now, if the public wants to see it. So most of the land currently designated on our map that's online right now on our website, it's designated permanent open space, at least according to the map, is actually owned by private landowners.
All of it is except the one parcel.
So all of it
owned by-
except the one we own. So it's okay. That's all my questions. Thanks.
Okay, so no, public comments, not now. So with the council's permission, I would like to have the second reading of the ordinance, just the title only. Or I can, if without your permission, I'll have to read the entire
Title
ordinance.
only, please.
Yeah,
Jesse?
I'm okay with the title.
Janie? Maria, you okay with that?
Yes.
Berlin?
Yeah.
Okay. So, thank you, Carla. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
So ordinance 390-2026, an ordinance adopting a comprehensive plan, development code, and zoning map. Okay, is there any further discussion on that before we have a vote?
I have a question. On the vote here, are we just voting for the reading of it or any little changes or suggestions?
Well, we would need a motion to approve the ordinance to adopt the comprehensive plan, development code and zoning, which has already been passed by the council with an amendment
For the map.
to fix the discrepancy. My recommendation would be to fix the discrepancy on the map to match the code. I think Berlin and Jesse have spoken to that as well. So that's what we're looking for. Does that
Any
answer your
questions?
question, Maria?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
Because I think if this vote will make the code law. With the changes.
This is the last step in the process,
Yeah, this is
basically,
the
for
last step to
us.
make it.
And if anything needed to be changed from this point forward, it's gonna have to go
We'll just go
through
through the process again.
So, but
Another process.
are we gonna be voting for if we're gonna match either one, which way it's gonna go?
yeah, we need to fix
Yeah,
the
that will go
discrepancy.
on the- like an
Because we have a
agenda.
discrepancy that the two don't jive. So we need to make them match.
Mhm.
So the match is going to be, we're gonna do it right now, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
So
How do you feel about the match? Do you think we should have the code match the map or the map match the code? What are your thoughts?
I feel the code should match the map. That's my opinion.
So I would entertain a motion to approve the council or the ordinance and with a discrepancy fix. Berlin, you still alive over there?
Yeah. Do you want a motion?
I would like one, please.
I'll make a motion to approve the reading of the comp plan with the, just fixing the map to match the code.
Okay,
Is that right?
that sounds right to me.
Is that the wording you wanted?
It was very eloquent. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks. Okay, perfect.
I'll second it.
Okay. So Berlin made a motion to approve ordinance 390-2026 to adopt a comprehensive plan, development code, and zoning map with a discrepancy fix to remove the word permanent from the map to match the code, the proposed code. Jesse has seconded. Berlin, your vote?
Yes.
Richard, your vote?
Yes.
Janie, your vote?
Abstain.
Jesse, your vote?
Yes.
Maria, your vote?
No.
Okay, so we have 3 yeses, a no, and an abstention. Motion carries. Please behave yourself. All right, after 2 years and a month. Yay, very good. So now we have on the agenda contract with Jennifer Curran, her legal firm Corey Byler and Rue to provide city attorney services to the city of Echo.
And Mayor, I can handle this one.
You bet.
Ms. Kern couldn't come. We talked about this in our prior meeting in February. Her hourly rate is $275 an hour, which is pretty standard and, very competitive. A question that you may have is, what did we budget last year? We budgeted $5,000. Well, in this fiscal year, I should say. We're over in that because of some of the land use issues, which is expected. So my goal is not to use the attorney too much because, I was doing some of the math. 5,000 a year times 275, I think you get a total of 18 hours. So I think in this next fiscal year, I'll probably budget just a little bit more, just in anticipation of perhaps using her. But it's really like having a fireman on standby. And so, like I said, my goal is not to use her a tremendous amount, but she's here when we need her and we need a city attorney just in case. And obviously CIS is really good, our risk pool, and there's opportunities there to use them first if we need them. But, my recommendation is to approve it because currently we don't have a city attorney. Our prior city attorney, who I've heard was great, retired. So you've got to have one. So, and Ms. Kern comes very highly recommended.
Thank you, Mike.
It'd be nice to have an attorney.
Yes.
Should've
They come in
So-
handy once in a while.
Yeah.
Even though you may not like to use them. they do come in handy.
I'll make a motion to approve the city attorney contract with Jennifer Curran
I'll
with
second.
the legal firm.
Okay,
Corey
Jesse
Byler.
made a motion to approve the contract with Jennifer Curran and her legal firm Corey Byler and Rue. Janie has seconded. Maria, your vote?
Yes.
Jesse?
Yes.
Janie?
Yes.
Richard?
Yes.
Berlin?
Yes.
Motion carries. Okay, and now we are on to the MOU with the Echo Community Church for use of the VFW for the food pantry. All of that is in your packet.
I would just like to say, I think it's really great that we have a food pantry. I don't know that most towns could, or towns the size of ours could really have one. So I think it's really awesome. And yeah, I think we should keep it going. So I don't know
Yeah,
if
who
anybody-
was doing it? Who did we have the MOU with before? Does anybody remember?
they're at the,
No, out with,
what do you mean?
when they first moved over, who was it with?
Yeah, they're at
Was it with
Kiwanis building.
Kiwanis? Okay.
Mhm.
And then when Kiwanis disbanded, it was kind of in limbo, right?
I don't think very long. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm asking a question for clarification. It's not public comment, it's questions to the folks that were on that board.
Service and the use of the building were interrupted.
Right.
There was a period of transition between the Kiwanis and the church. The church has slowly picked up the ball since. Very closely with like,
Okay. No, it's good. I'm glad somebody picked that up. I had forgotten all the details of how we kind of got to where we were today, but not that it mattered much, but I'd like to try to keep those thoughts straight. So, no, I think I mirror your sentiment, Jesse. I think it is a great thing for the community. I think they've done a great job with it.
Mhm.
So it's wonderful. And I don't think too many small towns like this have
No.
that.
I guess I'll make a motion to approve the contract for is it MOU with the community church? Is that for the victim?
Okay, so Jesse made a motion to approve the MOU for use of the VFW hall with the Echo Community Church. Maria has seconded. Richard, your vote?
Yes.
Berlin, your vote?
Yes.
Janie, your vote?
Yes.
Jesse?
Yes.
Maria?
Yes.
Motion carries. Okay, so we have a guest here tonight. We have Jesselyn Cole from, she's the Executive Director of Stepping Stones Alliance. Going to give us a presentation on the PATH project.
Good evening. Thank you for having me. So I did give you hard copies and I think they were in your packet as well. Thank you. So just some of our highlights, and one thing I want to share first and foremost is 2025 was the first year we were able to run all 3 programs the entire year. So this report is reflective of that, mostly in our finances. So the previous years we were running partial programs or started partway through the year. So this one has all of that information. So some of our highlights, we continued to get grant dollars to complete some smaller projects like fans in the sleep center bathrooms, new water spigots on campus, an awning on the sleep center to keep our guests out of the weather. We hosted the Hollywood movie No Address in August, which gave us some new partnerships with community organizations. Our outreach continued to grow as we did presentations at civic service organizations, churches, continue to host a lot of groups on site, which we would be happy to host you guys again for a tour. Things have changed greatly since the grand opening. So anytime you want to come out and do that, we welcome that. There's also a virtual tour on our website and Facebook now that you can take. So if you can't make it out, you can do that. The sleep center continues to see great use. We are consistently surprised with how many new people we continue to see, but still have ties to the area. So the unhoused population is growing, unfortunately. So we do track who's coming in and where they are self-reporting their ties are to or where they are from. Navigation Center continues to grow in programs for our members. So they are required to participate in different chores throughout the week, but also required to participate in at least 1 class a week. Some of those are more educational based, like budget or interview skills, resume building, and then others are more enjoyable, just entertainment. We have guitar lessons being taught right now. We have some art and personal growth, almost therapy classes, if you will, unofficially therapy, but like I said, art and writing. We try to cater those around what staff thinks members need, but also what members are wanting. We've even had some members take the initiative to create classes that they would like to teach. So we had a calligraphy class that a member was actually leading. So it's been good to build that community and just see them starting to thrive and giving back and wanting to do more and growing in themselves. We had 18 individuals successfully transition into permanent housing in 2025. And we hope to see that continue to grow as we continue to grow our partnerships with resources in the area. The biggest hurdle that we run into is the lack of housing. Our revenues continue to be pretty diverse. We are fortunate to be mostly operating off of state funding that runs through CAPCO. That is in the governor's budget for the next biennium. So with that being said, we do continue to seek out grant dollars and are working on different fundraising and other opportunities so that we're not solely dependent on funding that may not be there year to year. Our expenses are broken out there on page 9. And then 10 and 11 talk about our annual gala. So we did raise over $42,000 in that one night and already have the date set for that, Saturday, October 10th. So hope to see some of you there. It is a really good night for multiple reasons. So yes, the fundraising side, but it's also a great opportunity to thank those who are supporting our organization and also educate the community at large on what it is we're doing. Next is grants and donations. Like I said, we continue to seek out those grant dollars, especially for projects that are outside our day-to-day operations and that are fundable by grants. And then next steps. So by the end of May, we should have the outdoor kitchen. So that picture on page 13 is the outdoor kitchen space that has been really put together in parts due to funding and contracts and red tape. Getting that all in place has taken much longer than I would have thought, but we do have a deadline of the end of May to spend the funds that are allocated for that. So we will have an outdoor kitchen and the cover on there as well. And then along with that is the indoor suppression system over the residential stove in the Navigation Center kitchen. So that should be completed as well. And then next big project is the replacement of the temporary shower trailer. So working through steps for that. Our board of directors continues to be going strong. We did get 2 new board members at the end of the year, so they are excited to participate. We are still actively looking for someone to fill the treasurer role. So we do work closely with the CPA firm, so our finances are solid, good, and have good oversight, but we would like an actual treasurer named on the board. Staff members are going strong. All 3 of our administrators have celebrated 3rd year anniversaries, and we have 2 hourly staff that have celebrated 1-year anniversaries. And yeah, we continue to gel. There's a lot of experience on the board with homelessness, addiction, just various things that our guests and members can relate to and can see there is hope and something beyond what they are in the throes of right now. With that, I would be happy to answer any questions.
I don't have any questions, but I just wanted to say that I was able to go to the fundraising dinner and it was really nice to meet the people who are helping out, but really what was nice to see the stories and talk with some of the members that use that resource and just have understanding of where they came from. And, you know, in their time of need, there was a place for them to go. So that is like really powerful. It's making me tear up, but just thank you so much for what you do because it's really important. And some people really need that. So
thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else for President?
I did want to say a thank you to new city manager, Mike, for actually coming out and touring and getting a full understanding. I think we spent about an hour together.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time.
So
Really
getting
wonderful.
him up to speed on PATH and Echo's part in all of that and the history of it. And so I appreciated that time.
Yes, he's had a lot to learn, so. thank you
Yes.
for-
I'm
Yes.
just proud of the fact that you're doing that for the people.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I think Pendleton isn't doing anything like that, I don't believe.
They have different programming.
Different programs, yeah.
They have a couple of facilities, but they are,
This seems like it's just much more.
It's a dynamic team, I think.
Yeah, more
This team.
dynamic, that's the word.
Mayor, if I'm,
I think this one has more of a goal in mind to get people stable. And I don't see that so much in Pendleton.
I feel like our efforts are more comprehensive and meet people more where they are, but on multiple levels. So if they're only ready for the night to night sleep center, we have that. When they're ready to move into an individual shelter unit and really work on goals, we have that. So next, I'm hoping, I don't know how far away, but I want to build an apartment complex out there on the next acre and have that be the next step. So we'll see how quickly I can get that done.
It'll be longer than you want.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jocelyn.
Thank you, Jocelyn.
Okay, so now we need to fill a vacant position. We have two applicants. Both of their applications are in your packet. Both of them are here tonight. So I guess what I'll have them do, as soon as I get to it, is kind of introduce themselves and give us a little background. And so, Ms. Hampton, if you'd like to give us a little info on you.
My name is Eugenia Hampton. I live here in Echo, 11 East Jane Street. The reason I filled out an application is I felt I would be valuable in filling the gap until at least the election day. And by then, another person may have volunteered and had time to come and see what the council is all about. I did serve as mayor for 4 years and enjoyed it and understood what most of it was about. A lot of it, sometimes you had to rely on your manager, who seems to be catching on very quickly. Thank you. One of the things that I appreciate about Echo is that we are a small community. We know each other very well. When people move to Echo, one of my things is when you move to Echo, I hope you enjoy us. Try not to change us too much, otherwise you're in the wrong community. And when I mean changes, I don't mean we're stuck in the mud and won't do anything new. We are going to be building a new school. We have lots of new people, but we are a community who likes each other. We talk to each other and we communicate very well. And when we ask questions, we usually get a good solid answer. And if we don't agree, then we go on, but we also try to be agreeable as a community. And I feel that as a council, we need to go out and know what our community means and not expect them to come always to the meetings, because it's really hard when they are meeting. And when I mean get out to know the people, it's just kind of important to know them. When you go around to get your signatures, you visit with them a minute, but you really know them. So I do know the community. I could fit in for the next few months, and then you can find someone that would do it. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeannie. Ms. Sonnenberg.
Thank you. I'm Joan Sonnenberg. I live on 8 Smith Drive up by the golf course. Yeah, I'm new. I admit that. That's right up front. I've been here for a little over 18 months and about 19 months now, living in this wonderful community. Before that, I visited several times, went to several events here. And when my husband and I had the opportunity to come here, it was awesome. Unfortunately, now he has passed away and I'm here on my own, but I plan to stay. I bought a house and I'm so enthralled by this wonderful small community. The reason I applied was I've always been interested in civics and government, all the way back when I was telling my sister that I was going to apply for this open position. She goes, "Did you tell them you actually were student body president and went to Girls State and did yada?" I said, "No, that's not important. What's important is I'm dedicated to the small town that I now live in and that I will be in for the rest of my life, I hope." So what I really believe a council member should do is that we are stewards of our town. We are stewards of Echo. The taxpayers, the people that live here, the people that come and visit here, we are responsible for this town and the running of this town in order to support them. And so we are their representatives. So as a council member, I really feel it's important that I am a representative, that I would be a representative of the community. How do we do that? We listen with an open mind. We listen respectfully. We hear all points of view from everybody. And like Jeannie said, we go out and we talk to people and we get to know people and we understand where they're coming from, or try to understand where they're coming from, because our role isn't to dictate what happens here. Our role is to listen and represent and steward the city and where the city's doing. I also believe that in order for Echo to survive, we have to look at how we can be sustainable. What can we do with Echo so we can sustain what Echo is doing? How can we grow where we need to grow? Everything is being inflated. All of our tax dollars are, all of our dollars are inflated. You just go to the grocery store or the gas station, or employees that you may have to hire, or people that you know, everything around us is inflating. Our tax dollars are not inflating coming into our community. Our tax base is not growing. We have to look at how do we grow our tax base? How do we get more revenues into our city without creating more tax burden on the people that currently live here? So how do we do that? And as a council and listening to our constituents, that's something we would learn and be able to try to implement. And we have a great city manager now who has a lot of experience in this that can really lead. And we've had the benefit of multiple grants over the last few years. 12 million, I heard is what the number was that I read, that have in order to improve our water systems and our sewage systems. So I think that is something we need to continue to do. So if you choose to appoint me, I am committed to this community. I'm committed to listening. I'm committed to being fair. I'm committed to being respectful. And I'm committing to be a steward. So thank you very much. Any questions you have for me?
Thank you, Joan. So at this point, I'll open it up to questions of the applicants. Last time we did this, when we had Berlin in the hot seat, I remember the council went around and asked each applicant some questions. So at this time, I'll open it up to you guys to ask questions, if you have any. So now you're on the spot. Okay. I do have a question. As I see, our community is very diverse, and we have a lot of different opinions, different people that look different, that earn a different wage, live in a different house. Would you be able to govern and make decisions without any bias as to somebody's socioeconomic status or their gender or their race or anything else, or where they worked or where they came from or where they may be going? Would you be able to do that? And what's your thoughts on that? Joan?
Yes.
As long as Richard can hear you, we're good.
Can you hear me, Richard? What?
I've been told my voice carries.
I can hear you.
I rarely do my. So that's a question, which I don't like the answer. That's the question. That's in my background. I had to work. I've been a nurse since 1984, all my time, and then I've also been a healthcare leader for many years. I have an MBA, and I work here in healthcare. I've also a lot of experience with recently in college nursing. And when you work with patients, people coming in with a lot of backgrounds and all different walks of life and economic statuses, and you have to meet them right where they're at to meet their needs. And I feel that type of experience, I think, easily as struggling into a role. I also, from my own personal background, I was raised as very in a poor economic status, where my family got to take advantage of government cheese and how to develop competitive eggs. And so I had that experience, but also experience where I have friends that make more than I would ever do. But I really know that I see people, talk to people, and listen to them, and meet them right where they're at, with respect and
That's very good. Thank you, Joan. Jeannie?
As a former school teacher and a person who grew up in the sixties, I learned very quickly not to judge people, their appearance, their background, or where they're coming from. I also worked at a secondhand store, and I think that they are. I don't say, oh, I don't like very personal. I try not to hold a grudge. Sometimes there's times when we look at this and think, okay, I'm this parent of this child, the way they're treating them, but I will treat them with respect. And I will not like them. I've been around a long time that keep the city growing. When you talk about the school has grown, your passion grows, still with things that they come.
Thank you, Jeannie.
Well, Jeannie, you mentioned growing. I'd like to ask both of you what your visions are for Echo. I hear a lot of comments about we like our town the way it is, or why don't we have more business, or all kinds of questions that people might have. And I was wondering what your dreams might be for the community.
Go ahead, Janie. Joan went first last time, so we'll give you the honors this time.
Consider ourselves small, but not of a small mind. We don't want to grow so big that we don't know each other. I personally don't know how we have two people, because people can understand what we're first. I don't know how far when you talk about grow as far as building. I think it would be nice if some of the old buildings that are probably found and unoccupied would be bought and replaced, like the one by the VFW hall and taken out, and then all the ones to do that's progress. It's also keeping our identity. I hope they don't put in apartment buildings. Because number one, we probably don't have school. And if school is going to grow, then I don't know how, how much we have now come out of town. So it's kind of what I also like to have space when I say, okay, I don't want former houses on my house. I like my big area. That's why I wouldn't move to New York. I wouldn't survive in an apartment. But that's me personally. So, we have businesses in town, we have people. Secondhand store, that's fine. What else? Maybe there's some buildings, I mean, it's our power goods, I don't know. I'm against it, but I wouldn't take an arrow. I think business is gonna come here because we are small. And if we want big that brings in 1,000 people, so the hope is different.
Thank you, Jeannie. Joan?
So, to second Jeannie, what she said, growth has many definitions and definitions of what we mean by growth. You asked if I agree or how I would see that. I don't think we'll ever get back to the 2,500 people that were in this town in the early 1900s. That probably won't happen. But I do think that we have an opportunity to be more of a destination for people that might want to come with. Whether it's with refurbishing our storefront, bringing in businesses that can cater to local people as well as those in the evenings and weekends, that is an area where we can really grow. We have a great burrito with trees and everything. When I first moved here, I walked it several times and I felt it was really sad. I'm not, I think I got rotated by Kilman, but there's many things about this town. Uplift and market and say this is who we are as being the identity of food
make sure that we can our businesses, make them more where people want to come, for housing, so that we don't have to support our kids coming into our school, right? And I made friends over in Amsterdam, that those kids will support. They don't support the city. I'm excited to see the housing project. It's called the Snowshoe Project now. Snowshoe Project. But it changes. But I think those are the kind of things that help people buy affordable housing. They're wonderful. That is well known. We have a wonderful sports program, big program. Great for the business. But I think
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Joan.
Those are good questions. Thank you for asking them.
I just have one comment that, for the council, that I remember this comp plan thing. It's been going on for a long, long time, and a lot of people had chances to speak and research and ask questions and all of that. And both applicants were here during that process and made comments. And one applicant had done a lot of research, had some very good comments and thoughts that were well thought out. And I can distinctly remember during a work session that we had where low-income housing was brought up and affordable housing for everyone was brought up. And there was a comment made by a audience member saying to send them to Umatilla. And so that still sits with me to this day. It's probably something that I'll never forget because I feel that that's the opposite of our identity as an inviting, friendly community. Any other comments? Berlin?
Sorry. No, I'm fine. Do we vote tonight?
Yes. I just want to make
Okay.
sure questions and comments have been thoroughly vetted before we move to a vote.
Maybe Chad.
Okay.
Yes,
I
Jane?
have a comment.
Sure.
I wrote it out thinking about it. Okay, at this particular time with ECHO's development and infrastructure issues ahead of us, and with the new city administrator, I believe that council would benefit most from someone with prior council experience and a long-standing connection to the community. This would provide the strongest support for effective governance at this time. I feel that right now we need somebody who's been in the thing, and then Joan can take my place when I retire after the council. As soon as my term's up. But right now, I really feel that we could use somebody has experience right from the jump go, just because of all this growth and everything that's going on right now.
Anybody else?
I'll make a comment too. Sorry if I'm talking
Go
over
ahead.
someone. So my opinion on this is, I feel like we need someone who is ambitious and passionate and excited to do the job. I also feel like it would be someone who wants to run again, not just fill the position for 6 months. That's just my opinion. I just feel like if whoever's running now, I would hope that they would want to run again in the election.
Thank you, Berlin. Anybody else ready for a vote?
Yeah, I think that we're very lucky to have two candidates that would be good for the council either way. And I hope that whoever is not selected will continue to be involved with the city. I think that it's important to recognize that we kind of have a question here between Jeannie, who is a longtime resident and somebody who's had a lot of experience and so on, and knows what the old way of the city has been doing and so on. And we have Joan, who's a newer resident and is eager to serve and has ideas about what direction we might go and be the city of the future, whatever that is. So that really does not help me make a decision at all.
We add a new position.
I agree with you. I think either way, it's gonna be win-win, so.
Okay, so we're ready to vote? Okay, so Richard, I'll give you a second to think about it. So Jesse, your vote?
This is hard. I'm gonna go with Joan.
Okay. Janie, your vote?
I'll vote for Jeannie.
Okay. Berlin, your vote?
Voting for Joan.
Richard, your vote?
I'll vote for Joan.
Maria, your vote?
Jeannie.
Okay. Looks like that's 3 for Joan and 2 for Jeannie. Joan, welcome to the Echo City Council. So if you'd like to come up and take a seat.
And the microphone's ready to go, Mayor. So the only thing we need to have is a nameplate.
We're gonna get you started right now.
I wouldn't think so.
I think we can, and
You get the name
I
card
wasn't
that's
prepared
blank.
for that. That's on me. Yeah, and you could swear her in outside the council meeting too, just to make it official. Yeah, and then we can come and ceremonially do it as well.
Yeah,
next
I
meeting.
think I did it at the next meeting, where I got sworn in or something, right? Was it the next meeting or was it that night?
You're not going anywhere now. You're stuck. Careful what you ask for. You may just get it. Thank you for that, Berlin. I do think that was correct. So, but did we have you vote on anything that first night?
No.
Okay.
I think
Very
I just
well.
sat up there with you guys, and then after I got sworn in the next meeting is when I was able to actively vote and participate.
That sounds about
right. Okay.
Thank you, Berlin. Thank you, Jeannie.
It was
for
like
your-
6 years ago, so I don't remember.
And thank you, Joan, for your interest, and thank you too for coming out tonight. And it's nice to see folks still turning out to volunteer for their community, especially after what we've had to go through the last 2 years. There's still folks that want to come in and help. So great, good for the city of Echo. So. Okay, so on number 9, it says approval of Joan Sonnenberg volunteer application for the Trail Committee. I do need to add a name on there. Phyllis Shabelsky has also volunteered, although her application got misplaced, so we will rectify that. But I think the more the merrier. And so I would like to appoint with the council's approval, Joan Sonnenberg and Phyllis Shavelski to the Trail Committee. So all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Welcome to the committee. I think she
Yeah,
was-
welcome to my
Were
committee.
you late? Were you late? Were you delayed?
What? Am I delayed?
Your vote was an aye for yes.
Yes, I want them on my committee.
The delay in there made it sound like you voted against them.
No.
So let the record show that
Yes,
it was a unanimous
I
decision.
thought that was the case.
Yeah, and I will get a hold of the Umatilla Trail Committee and let them know that Joan and Phyllis will be on the Echo Trail. So if they have any meetings, they can get invited as well.
Perfect. Thank you for that. Okay, so moving on to cleanup day discussion, I'll turn this over to you, Mike.
Thank you, Mayor. So this is something I've been talking to Phyllis and Mike about initially. So they got me educated on cleanup day and the history of it. And so I've been doing a little research myself, talking to stakeholders who've been a part of it, and you know, talking to staff as well about some of the issues associated with it. So it's a mixed bag. So I learned quite a bit about cleanup day, and you know, I guess I'll kind of just give my perception of, you know, because there's several varying views that I perceived. You know, I'll start with the folks that helped out with some of the heavy machinery that they brought. There was a feeling that maybe they did a lot of the heavy lifting, and, you know, people waited for this day, and we sort of enabled people to leave some of their trash in their yard for the year. And it became this expectation where they're going to pick it up every year. I think the other element, it's a burden on staff as well to coordinate, to use city funds for a lot of these operations, for a volunteer operation, which, you know, with our margins that, you know, they're pretty thin. So I think that's one element, and staff having to come in on the weekends, and, you know, Public Works being a part of it. So, you know, collectively, I think we did the math just kind of real quickly, and it was anywhere from, like, it could cost the city anywhere from $2,500 to $5,000 of our own money just working on a volunteer event. I think the third element, it's a great community event. It's been around for a long time. Meta does a lot of work with it. So one thing that we did get free dumpsters, right, Meta?
They are giving us free dumpsters, but the timeline will. If we want to get more dumpsters for longer time, we'll be required to pay for that. So, they offer to drop off the dumpsters on the 15th, which is a Wednesday, and they will pick up on the 20th.
And we've made those flyers that are in front of each of you counselors. So, and my thinking bringing this before the council, because it sounds like this could turn into a lightning rod if I, the new guy, mishandle it. So I wanted to
You're gonna
really
get blamed for everything.
yeah,
anyway, so-
you know, and you know, when you're a city manager, you take a lot of arrows, but that's the nature of the job. But I also wanted, you know, to bring it out in the public, just so Mike and Phyllis, any community members that want to speak, get the opportunity. So hopefully, Mayor, with your blessing, if anybody wants to come and speak on this topic, to give their 2 cents, they can. But also, what is the will of the council, like in terms of, before I go and spend, you know, $3,000 on something, but it doesn't look like we're going to have to do that. You know, what is your will and desire? Because it really started out as a volunteer event through Kiwanis, I believe, you know, with, you know, people volunteered, they gave their time free, there was no expectation. And realistically, it's not really a city event. You know, when you look at the totality of it, it really is a community event where people volunteer, give their time. And, and I'll close with this, Mayor. I think our role in it is really maybe a little coordination with the Meta and us messaging it on Facebook and our social media platforms. But I don't think we have the staff to do it because it costs us money, and not only salary, but, comp time and things like that, which ultimately we have to pay. So I'll leave it at that, and then ultimately leave it to the desire of the council of what you guys, the direction you want us to go in.
I just have or you
Oh,
want to
go
go
ahead,
first?
Jesse.
I just have a couple comments. I think it's a great service that we have, and I think it's just going to look different year to year. And I was able to volunteer the past 3 years, and I feel like there was people who were actually physically picking up the stuff were people who were living outside of town. So that was kind of like, I appreciate them helping, but also I'm like, well, but I also understand there's people who physically can't do it. So,
Right.
there's that too. So there's so many things going into it that it's hard to like, we're not going to please everybody, but I think as long as the city can coordinate this, that's awesome. And so we could take advantage of that. So that's one less hurdle that people will have. And like you said, I mean, our staff is short. We have a lot of changes going on right now. Volunteers are going to, go up and go down, and just what we have accessible to us. So I think that this is just huge, having the opportunity to have the dumpsters here. So that's one less hurdle people have to have or arrange. So that's just my comment.
So Mike or Meta, sounds like we have 3 dumpsters that they're bringing.
They have offered.
I don't know. For some reason 3 is in my head, but it could be there for no
We had
particular reason.
originally thought when we were gonna do it 3, after talking to Kyle Public Works. He said last year we had 5, and so that was my fault, because there were only 3 on this side of the track.
Yeah.
But they have offered to do all 5, the same as they have every other year.
That's good.
But it'll be a longer duration, so
Yeah.
Friday to Monday, down Wednesday to fall.
Right. So then how does the garbage get into the dumpster?
People have to dump it themselves.
Okay. What if somebody is unable to, I imagine these are going to be pretty healthy sized dumpsters like they were before.
Yes, always, and the door will be open. So
The
that
door
you
on the
can push
end.
it in, and then I believe after talking to Kyle and, or not, but after talking to Kyle and sanitary disposal, he is going to push it on Friday before we leave for the weekend, and then he'll push it Monday before sanitary disposal.
So kind of compact it to the
Yes,
end.
as far as we can, so.
And let's say somebody is disabled or elderly and has some things that need to be dumped. Should they ask their neighbor, or should they coordinate with City Hall, or is there any thought to that? Because that is a question that's going to
It
come
might
up.
be their neighbor. There's always somebody around who can probably help. I'm sure you can call me and probably help you, or I'm sure.
He's got a little trailer behind his bike, so there you go.
I'm sure I could, see if my husband can help, but not on Saturday, but maybe after work or something. It's a little pile that's not that hard, but.
Maybe we could get like a little like volunteer list of people who could help on a certain time. Maybe?
But it wouldn't be coordinated with the city.
No,
I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
have time to like try to
Yeah.
coordinate, but if they do, if there is a volunteer list of people who want to volunteer.
Yeah.
Or can help, then maybe I can, give out that.
We could
number,
put
see if
lanes,
somebody
yeah.
calls, and, just go to the next volunteer on the list.
Or like I could say, yeah, like I could say, hey, put my name down, and people could call me at this time frame,
But
maybe.
what
That
we
would-
have to keep, the list of people that I'm giving the numbers out to, or,
Yeah.
So what if you
Yeah.
had one person that would volunteer to take those calls? So when they called you, you say, oh, that's so-and-so, and here's so-and-so's number, contact them, and they'll coordinate
I would
finding
have-
someone to pick that up.
That would be wonderful.
Okay.
because That's.
So we could, I think if we could find a volunteer to do that, then we could put it out there perhaps on Facebook or on the website that we're looking for a volunteer to coordinate with other volunteers to
Mhm.
load debris into dumpsters based on their personal availability type of
Yeah.
thing. And then,
I know you could, I'll get with you because I do want to volunteer sometime, but I just need to double check what's going on with their schedule. So if I don't see you tomorrow, remind me, call me or something. Oh yeah, it's tomorrow's Wednesday. So yeah, just if I keep forgetting, let me know.
Yeah, I could definitely, myself and Amanda both have access to the Facebook page. We could put out a call for volunteers and then based on what we get, I think, and then at that point, if we get a few that commit, we can give that phone number out. If they call City Hall,
Mhm.
because, at times I answer, it's a team effort, Anna answers. We could all have that designated list of like, hey, call, Susie Jones or whoever it might be. But I think that's probably the best idea. And then hopefully we get some able-bodied people to help the senior citizens that they can't take it themselves or, I know I don't have a truck. Gosh, every time I want to haul something, I wish I had a flatbed. I need to invest in that. But, for somebody with a flatbed truck so I think we can gather volunteers that way without burdening staff too much. And, because we're at City Hall anyway. Right.
Whenever they're, yeah. Yeah.
or maybe they'd have only Saturday. They could.
Or they only have Saturday.
Yeah.
Exactly, but it would just be the one day for 4 hours.
Yeah.
I think looking at this for the first time, and a lot of what the comments are around here is that this tells you it's going to happen, but there's not much in here about the mechanics of how it's happening.
This is just the first post.
The rough draft.
I have a letter that can go out from everybody's water bill, so make sure you go through your water bill this month. But all of that, I just wanted to make sure that, we have the basics of it, so I can start posting it places so you know about it, and then we'll go from there.
So Meta, I also know that a lot of people look at what's happening in Echo.
Yes.
And that's really another, and so putting out, hey, if you need help, maybe you can ask your neighbors as that is a request.
Yeah.
Type thing on that.
Yeah. And again, this is just, I had talked to sanitary code today, we had a meeting at 1:30, and so this is just. I didn't want to move me out.
I'm a nervous Nelly, it's just wanna get-
No, it's a good discussion.
Yeah, and I could sense the community's passionate about this issue. And my take is, it's wonderful. If we can help a senior that can't get there and the volunteers can go and the intent is really good. So, I've been involved in these in some of my past jurisdictions and we've had a really good success with the canisters being out at location and they know the drop off times and, most people are good stewards. And we changed it from going out and helping people because the logistics got really complicated. You had a core group of people that did all the work. So it's very similar. So I've dealt with this before. So I think Ametta's idea of having them in one stationary place where people know where they're at, they can come at their own leisure, they can coordinate. I think ultimately it's going to be better than if we can coordinate that volunteer list for the folks that can't get out. I think that'll be good and probably the most effective way.
Anything? Any other thoughts, guys? All right.
And I think
Very
that
good.
gives us great direction. So thank you, council.
Good direction. You have a smile, so.
And thank you to Meta because she's done a lot of work with this and Kyle and the group. So thank you.
The flyer looks awesome.
It does.
I try to do that and it goes all over the place.
I don't even try. I don't even know how. Don't even know how to do those. So.
Does a good
Why
job.
does
of
it
it.
keep moving every time I hit space? Okay. So now we're on to police report. So Chief Sumwalt.
Submit it in writing.
How did I know he was gonna say that? Boy, you gotta come up with something new one. Just to surprise us.
We have been contacted by the school and they want, at the beginning of the school year, we really helped try to educate people on the drop-off zones. It's where with the, we're gonna have to restart that, so we are going down and trying to get them educated about the drop-off area. So we have been hitting that, and then we were pretty busy, but it just never turned cold, so we were busy all winter now. Any questions on the report? Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right. Scott is just chomping at the bit for his turn.
I did not submit one in writing, a report in writing. Yeah, I'm bad.
I know, wow.
Didn't really have a whole lot to report on, other than hopefully we could approve the traffic lights so we could get that up around the school. That was what we were gonna do today. Remember
The traffic light. You mean
the
sign,
traffic
the s-
bleak, the blinkers and stuff for the
Right,
school
the
zone.
signage.
Yeah.
The lighted signage.
So I can get that ordered.
And so will you give us a rundown of what happened from last meeting to this meeting in coordination with the school?
The school bought the eco blocks. We placed those, it's been a little over a week ago. Placed those. I don't know if I haven't heard any complaints about them. I don't know. Really have heard nothing. And then and then we have that grant from the county to purchase those, and then it was about $1,100, $1,200 over the money that we have granted, so that we'd be on the hook for that. I haven't heard anything more from the school. I think theirs was, they'll buy the blocks, we placed them, and that was the size of their, that's the last I heard, so.
Mike, do you have anything to clarify that? Because I was under a different assumption based on your meeting.
So my assumption, like in terms of the lights, Scott.
Yeah.
For the cost of those. I think he was under the assumption that we had a grant for those.
We do, but there's
Yeah.
$1,100 that the grant doesn't cover.
Right, and he was willing to cover that difference because they had some money in a fund that they could use, so I think,
Did he tell you that?
yeah, Dave and I met with him. I think after, because there was a meeting, I've had so many meetings, forgive me, since I've been here. Yeah, Dave and I met with him shortly after the last meeting when you were asking those questions, Mayor, about like, where are we at with it? So, you know, and he acknowledged, and I think the issue for Raymond was more the sense that we had more on our budget side and he had a small amount, and that he felt like we should carry the proportional share, which I agree, because we had more money in the grant bucket. So, but yeah, his portion, he's willing to share the love and pay for that. So it should be pretty easy, just a matter of, and I don't even think there's anything, it's all in the queue, and, you know, just a matter of pulling the trigger, Scott.
Yeah, because I just wanted the approval to go ahead and order the materials and stuff so we could get that up.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure the council knew that Raymond had.
And he's good to go. So.
Okay,
So
that's great.
So yeah, the blocks look good, is what I was imagining, so we will have to address that ordinance and amend it. Or get rid of it one way or the other. Take a look at that next meeting.
Yes, and that was in my notes to talk about that, and I'll work on that with Scott and make sure.
Because I think for the chief, we can continue status quo and not write tickets. Because that seems to be taken care of. And it sounds like Raymond's gonna do his part, and you guys will eventually paint the crosswalk and the.
I have
school
thermoplasty.
crossings
I ordered, it'll be thermoplasty, so we'll just heat it and put it down.
Perfect.
So yeah, that'd be good. I can get that on order.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think we had a couple of signs that we were gonna put no parking down, further down.
Yeah.
Thielsen. By the tennis court, across
Yes.
from the tennis courts and that, so. I think that's about it.
Yeah, I
I
think
still
that
haven't
was
heard
it.
on the street light from Pacific Power.
No, and
But
I have to keep dinging him on that and see where we're at.
It's gonna not happen as fast. Okay, so then I guess.
Oh, go ahead.
Then I guess if the council's okay with Scott moving forward, then we should.
Yeah.
should do that, yeah.
Sounds good.
All right, they're all nodding their head yes. I think even
Alrighty.
Berlin probably.
Yes.
Yes.
There we go.
All right, so there you go, Scott.
Okay, and then also Arbor Day, we're gonna have, we've set Arbor Day for 4/28. April 20th for the Tree City.
Yep.
And our Arbor Day for that.
We'll have a declaration.
Okay, yeah, I'll make sure.
And
I
then I'll
catch
get the
that.
proclamation for you.
Okay.
That's a
I'll
Tuesday.
get that.
Is there any project for Arbor? Do we usually do some sort of tree?
We're gonna plant
planting?
some trees. We've got a couple we're gonna plant on fields, and there's some that they died and nope, we'll replace those two. Kids, I think the man already has the kids lined out.
1 p.m. on 4/28, we on field and trees with kids. Then we have anything else to come? It's still one walk up. I think Ahmed is doing. For the library. So,
I got you.
and then you said 4/28? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's.
April. Logan's gonna start the 1st of April, so that'll help out. So we got, Logan's gonna be back. Yeah, seasonal will be back. We'll have our seasonal starting April 1st and then the 1st of April. I don't know if you have that in yours. But then the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, I've got a crew coming. Then we're gonna work up at the golf course of April. So, any other questions or anything for me?
No.
Jamie.
Sorry, but could we make sure Logan checks his phone in at the city office?
Then I can't get a hold of him.
Maybe he could have a city phone. He just sits on his phone every time you drive by, sitting on the.
I'll have a talk with him when
or
he
sitting
starts.
On the phone doing nothing, talking and playing and.
I'll
I
get him,
have a
I'll get him in
question.
line.
Just wanted to see, I know you're gonna be pretty busy this month, the coming month in April, so about the alley,
Mhm.
that you're looking into further?
Yep.
funds?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, we'll get that taken care of this in the next month or so.
Thank you.
You bet.
Okay, anything else for Scott? Thanks, Scott. Okay. Tanya.
I did submit mine in writing, but it was after the council packet went out, so I'm not
I
sure.
know
if you
That's my fault,
got
council,
a
so forgive me for
copy,
that.
but-
I was about to take the blame and then she started.
Ah, Take the blame. No, February was another excellent month. We did 34,829, which is 11,000 over last year, same month. And again, it was due to the beautiful weather, which is great for an outdoor recreational site. We had one of the most profitable weekends over the last weekend in February due to the weather again. All the carts were rented out both Saturday and Sunday, which is fabulous. And so going forward, I just really want to stress tea times for patrons, members, and people that are coming in paying greens fees, because I don't want to turn people away. So we hosted a cross-country tournament on Sunday, the 15th, and that brought out 27 players, including 20 members, 7 non-members, and 4 women. So really good turnout for February.
The next tournament is going to be this Sunday. It's 3 clubs and a putter challenge. And so I have a bunch of people signed up for that. So it should be another excellent weekend and praying for no wind. We're doing hiring right now. I've got a couple part-time groundskeepers in training. We're just really gearing up for the course being busy, and we've had Zumwalt come out and clear some trees. Scott turned on the water today. So full charge ahead for spring and getting the course into great shape. And with it being March, we're open now 7 days a week. So come on out and see us.
I got some
Anything-
water if you need it.
Yeah, she's got it. Anything else for Tanya? All right, well, good job. Glad to hear it. Okay. Berlin, anything on the trail committee?
No, but I got 2 new members.
Yes. Good news. All right. And nothing
Yeah,
from
that's
the
the
art-
latest update.
All right, good update. And nothing from the art committee, so we will move on to, there's no old business. So Mike, you're up with the city manager report.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. So obviously I'm drinking from a fire hose. So, first of all, thanks to the community. I'm already starting to get a lot of calls and, getting input on things that need to be improved, things that are going great. So thank you to the community. And I always try to answer my phone and so that's been great to get all perspectives. Thank you to the staff who's been really great. Meta, Anna, Tanya, Scott, Chief Zumwalt, Kyle. You're only as good as your staff. So thank you. I mean, they've been, honestly, we're blessed with a really good staff. And, my perspective is always, how do I help them grow? How do I help them learn and, really maximize who they want to be as people and, professionals. And, my hope is that, one of they are able to take over for me, or, if, I die in a car accident, which I hope it don't happen, that they can take over and keep things smooth. But I've been really committed and just really enjoying Echo, to be honest. I mean, it's been such a blessing to be here. So thank you. Some of the work that I've been doing, we met with ODOT. I'm already getting hot and heavy into the ODOT issue with the Northgate issue with, and I don't want to get too much into it, but we met with them today with the tennis shoe development and, things that traffic impact analysis. And I'm certainly a proponent of growth, but smart growth. We don't want to grow out of control, and we certainly have to follow the laws and everything. So the main thing I'm trying to do is really build a great relationship with ODOT and make sure that I understand their perspective and how do we do this effectively. So Carla attended today along with Heath, so that was great, and Kelly from ODOT. So we're already meeting and really trying to get that perspective. We're going to meet again with them today on that Northgate project. So just really excited about that. Excited about the phase 3 water plan, picking up where Dave left off. And, I want to give a special thanks to him because he stayed for 30 days to show me as much as he could, and I quickly learned that he's done a tremendous amount in 7 years. So you'll have to give me a little grace. So I'm trying to squeeze everything in, but I did want to publicly thank Dave for, being gracious, showing me as much as he could in that time frame, and, wishing him the best of luck in his next venture, because I really do think he laid a great foundation for me to hopefully have success and, some of the, especially the developments that we have going, and all the work that the council's done this past few years with, redesigning the code to comprehensive plans. That is a massive undertaking and just a great accomplishment. It really is. So we're small but mighty here in Echo. Been talking with business owners and met with Nicole over at Nicole's and, Mike at H&P and a few others about, starting a little business organization in town, kind of taking my Pasco hat and my business development and, doing monthly meetings with business owners to kind of get their perspective on, how we, the city, can help. Are there codes that can be improved and whatnot? So that's been received really well. And, I've been investigating how do we start a Main Street organization here in Echo. I think we're built for it. I've got some experience in Pasco with our Main Street organization, and I think that can bring us grants. It could bring our business community together. So I'm excited about that. Financially, I'm learning all the ins and outs of the assist program. Our fund balances look strong. Right now we're not, the staff's being good. They're not spending too much right now. They're giving me some grace. So I think once they get to know me a little bit more, they'll probably, increase. But, we do need supplies to run a city, that's for sure. Already thinking about this fiscal year and, some of the increases coming out of the CIS conference. I didn't get a chance to go this year, but Darla, our neighbors, she informed me that our health insurance is going up 14%. So it just, when the rubber meets the road in all these different places, and Stanfield, they do great things for us. Thank you, Scott and Chief. But those costs continue to rise at 4%. And not being critical of you guys, it's just the way it is. So those are things that I'm already thinking about, for this next fiscal year, and already starting to look at the budget and where can we tinker, what can we do, and that's why I really think some of the economic development initiatives that I have, it really is the future of Echo. We have some really great opportunities economically, but it's going to take property taxes to kind of support us, and housing developments, but we got to make sure we have sewer capacity, our water is in effect, that we're working with the ODOT. So, these are the complex issues that I'm working on, and, while minding the community and their wishes, and, making sure it's a balancing act. So, as far as some of the things Scott and I've been working on, so thank you, Scott, for getting those eco blocks in. I mean, looks great. I threw it out there on what's happening Echo to see if we got bashed or anything. So it was really positive for the most part. There was maybe one negative comment, but I tell you, I was really happy that 90% of the comments were positive. We got a lot of thumbs up. So it was great. And I think safety was the real key, and it was a good partnership. And so we'll get working on that. Only thing I wanted to close with, something I've done in the past in some of the jurisdictions, especially me being new. I was talking to Mayor about this, maybe having a get together and just talk about the vision this next fiscal year, and the direction for me as the city administrator, because I certainly don't want to go rogue, or, maybe I have an idea that I think is great. And I've seen managers get twisted. They have an idea they think is great, but the council's like, what the heck are you up to? So I just want to make sure that we're in alignment, and I'm, doing the will of the council, and, workshop like that, maybe a visioning workshop. We can invite the community to say, hey, this is the direction that we want to go in as well. We know you've done all these, the code recodification, the comp plan. We have these opportunities, what is the next step for us? And that'll give me a good direction. And with Joan and Councilor Sonnenberg, I'll have to make sure I say that from now on, that she's on, where that vision is, and we have some new blood, and I'm new blood. So yeah, so I did want to get direction. Would we want to do something? I think our next scheduled meeting officially would be the final fourth Thursday in March, so the 24th. So if everybody's up to it,
Tuesday. Yeah,
fourth Tuesday, excuse me. I know we're at Thursday in my mind. So the fourth Tuesday, if everybody's up to it and available, I would like to do that. I don't want to overmeet, and I don't want to do a workshop every month because I don't think it's necessarily necessary. But for my sake, and the direction for my staff and the community, what's the vision? Being a new administrator, especially. So
Well,
that's
like
all I got.
We talked the other day, Mike. I think that's a good idea. We did that with Dave as well. We have our goals that are out there in our mission and vision statement and those kind of things. And it is time to review those again. We, as a council, agreed to try and review those annually. So here we are, beginning of the year. We didn't do it in January, of course, because we knew we were going to get
Right.
something new. But I think that having a work session, it's not an official meeting, but just to take a look at those again and answer some of your questions and things that you've seen around town or things you've heard around town, and see how that aligns with our goals. And maybe we need to adjust those goals or maybe not. But now that we're kind of through a lot of heavy lifting, we can focus on some of the things that have been put to the wayside for a few days.
Talking about this, about
Fourth Tuesday, our
this
norm,
month,
yeah,
March. Okay, that'll be the 24th.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
About 6.
6 o'clock, yeah.
If everybody's up to 6, keep it
Got
consistent.
Yeah.
Okay,
And our
perfect.
work sessions
Yeah, that's
are-
fine.
Okay, Berlin said, yeah.
Thanks.
Sorry
Thanks,
if I'm delayed still.
No, we appreciate you being with us. Thank you for your commitment. We do kind of hold it, it's a little less, it's a little more relaxed.
Okay.
During a work session. So we do invite comment, questions, sometimes during.
Participation.
Yeah, participation from the
Perfect.
community or the audience, and so.
That's
Still is
wonderful.
kind of a meeting of sorts, but we're not doing anything official. So getting input, it's a good opportunity for us to get input
Awesome.
and people to go, well, did you think of this? Or did you think of that? So,
Oh, that's great. And I know when I was in Pasco, our work sessions, we didn't have public comment, and that was a huge complaint. So then there was so much, I don't want to call it outcry, but there was input from the community that in a workshop, there should be, the ability to participate. So they changed that. And I think it's been really effective for them. So I'm glad to hear that we do that. So it's helpful.
yeah. So if the
Okay.
council's good with having that, then that would be our normal day to have one. We don't always have one those days, but
Sounds
I
good.
think it'd be good to help you get started.
Absolutely. I would love it. So I thank you.
Okay, perfect. So shall it be scheduled then? Great. Anything else, Mike?
No, sir. And thank you, council.
Yeah. Anything else for Mike?
Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, so at this time, I would like to invite public comment. These comments shall be don't have to meet any agenda requirement. So if anybody'd like to come up and speak. Katie had her hand up first, but Phyllis, I will come back to you.
Katie Barthel, 330 West Halsted. First off, congratulations, Joan. I'm glad to see you part of the council, and I'm really glad that both you and Jeannie put your applications in. So that was good to see tonight, and I think no matter how it went, it would have been good additions to the council. But I really want to come up and comment on the cleanup day. I don't really know much about it. I've seen it, and I don't even know what day it is because I don't know if I missed that part. But you could have it.
Now you've been duly notified.
I just had a small suggestion, given the issues we have with staffing and them kind of taking on and heading it over the last, couple years, that maybe the council would look into future, maybe a committee to do this, because this could be a potential where it could be a multiple time of year cleanup, where it could turn into walking the streets and being on Main Street, or going to our parks and helping clean and groom and plant flowers and kind of that kind of stuff. And as well as helping organize for the cleanup day with the dumpsters and getting volunteers. So with that said, Amanda, you have my number if you need it. I will volunteer for that.
Here's
But
somebody's volunteering.
But that's just kind of where I was at with that, just from listening to the comments and the conversation that were going on. So that's a potential. We don't have a whole lot of committees on the council per se. So if the city's kind of taking on, that's maybe one way to go and get the rest of the community involved and let them take on the burden of the schematics of everything. That's all I have.
Thanks, Katie. Phyllis.
Well, since we started doing cleanup 20 years ago, and I think it's at least 20 years ago that we started this project. I'm all with Katie where we need a committee because that's how it all started. And yes, in the past, we have gone and cleaned up the planters and we planted flowers on Main Street. And one year I looked at Janie Enright and she and I were pulling weeds and doing stuff and the young people were driving around in pickups. And I said, yeah, why are we out here doing this? And she said, because we grew up with ask not what you can do for your, or what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. So we have us older volunteers, if that's, we believe that we're supposed to be helping. And yeah, I met it. I saw the look, and most likely I'll be here on the 24th gabbing again, making comment. You looked at me. I asked Scott, and he's not here, and I'm asking the council and maybe Ameta to gently remind people that the Red to Red bicycle race is this weekend. And that brings 500 plus people into the community. Those people show up, they leave, there's no mess. They're the most gracious, nicest people. But it would be really pleasant to remind people to, you know, go visit the businesses. But we've had some issues at the post office where people are insistent that they're going to double park while a race is trying to start. And they're not very happy. So if we can just gently remind them to stay away from the post office during the race, that would be really nice.
Don't you guys close those roads, or they close, not you guys, excuse me, but they have a permit to close those roads down, don't they?
The only road that's really closed is right next to the post office. Everything else is open.
Oh, the Main Street's still open?
Main Street's still open. I have my own little stop sign now.
I just
because
kind
I
of
go do
avoid it.
traffic.
I go around it, you know, I mean.
Yeah, you
'cause
just
I
go around it.
There's no need to go in where all those people are at.
But it would be really helpful to just remind the community that these people are going to be here and they don't need to be upset because they can't go get the mail at 10 o'clock. It has been a little bit of an issue. I also did ask Scott if there is any possibility that he would be running the street sweeper down the street. And he said that he thought that might work. So just to kind of coordinate with you. Thanks to Joan. Thanks to former Mayor Hampton. Appreciate both of you stepping up. And either one of you would have been a great selection. I'm really happy to help with cleanup if Katie would like to start working on a committee. I think that's, oh, I did have a question, and this is a little off topic, Janie, but I thought the new fire hall was going to have a big sign that said Echo Fire Department.
It's in the process of being made right now.
Oh, okay.
One of our firemen owns Ross's machine, or Ross's.
Oh, okay.
He's working on it right now.
Okay. Well, I look forward to your grand opening.
Thank you, Phyllis. Anybody else with a comment? Yes, Vicente.
Good evening, Vicente, mailing address PO Box 2, Echo. I'm coming for the council and yourself as well, Mayor, you and City Manager, Mr.
Mike Gonzalez.
Yeah. I've been involved in some capacity with the city council for the past 3 years. I probably missed like maybe 2 meetings, if that. I mean, and over the time, I've observed a shift from how the town has been since like I was a kid. You know, I bought a property here right before I left for the Air Force, because I knew I was going to come back to the community because I wanted to serve it. And in that time, in those 3 years, there hasn't been much outreach to the community for input. So hearing about a work, like a possible work session stuff, I think that's great. It's nice to see that after so much time, there's finally some input. Some people would say better late than never. But with all that being said, I've observed the council being guided in a direction that I don't think is true to what a majority of the residents really want. And with that being said, in the military, if there's a commander and the troops don't believe in them, then there's a vote of no confidence, right? And so for myself, speaking to various different residents in the community, have not enjoyed the way the town is being directed. And so with that being said, just full transparency, I will be submitting a recall yourself, Mayor, here in the next week or so. I feel it is an election year, but I think the council would be better off guided by, or not being guided with your input. I appreciate the work you've done over the years, but I mean, honestly, it's a democracy, right? So this, if anything, gives it back to the people, right? If someone likes you, then they'll keep you on. If they don't, then hey, they're just, it keeps it, simple and fair. But I'm just trying to, be transparent and open about how I've been confronted by individuals that just don't like the way the town is headed and would rather see it change. And with all this new turnover and everything, I think it's a good time for something like that. So with that, I appreciate your guys' time. Thank you.
Thank you, Vicente. Yes, Gina?
Gina Sater, 33229 Marble Street. I get frustrated when I'm sitting there listening to, knowing you guys are going to vote, and I can't speak out. And I know that's how Robert's rules of order. But when I'm seeing misinformation, in my opinion, that's being given out for you to vote, you were told that there was a permanent open space in the original complex. I believe there was, and I think that should be looked up. And I feel you were asking if it was the plan, that if they made any changes. They were saying they haven't made any changes to the one that, the most recent one. Is that correct, Chad? You can't answer, you can't.
Well, I can. I'm not sure I
I
fully
think
understand.
Jesse was asking if we changed anything because the attorney said
The
not to.
proposed,
Anything
yes.
from the original plan.
Right, as I
And
understand
there was
it.
permanent open space in the original plan.
Okay.
I know that. I've talked to Diane. I've read it. I'm not going to say 100%, but I have talked to Diane and she did say there was permanent open space. The other thing is, yes, those people own the permanent open space, but when they bought it, they knew it was permanent open space and they couldn't do anything with it. The people underneath, and you got 17 letters from people underneath. Some of them people underneath. Some of my family owns about 8 houses underneath there. And when you buy it, put it up against the ditch, especially those ones, they're expecting nothing to be done behind it. They knew it was permanent open space. So that's a few things. Carla said permanent open space is for, she makes it feel like it's for public. But all through Oregon, it's there to protect slopes and keep people from building on slopes or the ditch situation and things like that. I feel you guys made a mistake on changing that, but okay. What is the other things? I strongly feel like Berlin shouldn't be speaking about that. She works at the winery for the people that own it, and her family owns that land. So I feel like she shouldn't be speaking on it. I feel like it's a conflict of interest. This is no offense to you, okay, but Echo has never been 2,500 people. the most it's been since it was born is 720 or something like that. Please do, because I promise you I will, and I won't apologize. I don't need an apology.
No,
I don't think you meant to do anything wrong. I'm just saying what is true. Okay, that's there. Now I'm going to read what I wrote before I came to the meeting. I have attended nearly every council meeting as of late, and I have not seen members of the public badgering council members. Community members are given 5 minutes to speak, and they use that time to raise their concerns about issues affecting our town. Threatening to call the police during public comment felt unnecessary, inappropriate, and theatrical. Public comment is one of the few opportunities citizens have to address their elected officials. What I did observe at a recent meeting was a council member speaking during the time a community member had the floor. If the council would like to change the format and allow discussion back and forth with community members, that could actually help clear up misunderstandings and allow issues to be addressed more productively. Mayor Ray, I would like to encourage you to keep meetings focused on open dialogue and respectful participation. I feel your comments at the last meeting were meant to discourage public involvement, and that is sad. And I'll be honest, I've had people talk about recall, and I've said it would split the community, but I'm at the point I totally support it.
Thank you, Gina. Any other public comment at this time? Yes, Mr. Duffy. Mr. Duffy now.
Mike Duffy, box 127 Echo. I don't support the recall. I think it was a couple, 3 years ago, when Gente was up there bringing in information. He had facts and he had figures. And I looked over at him and I said, I wish more people did what he's doing. Yeah. That was premature. A lot of people couldn't have done what you've done. I support you as mayor. It's appropriate for the police to act as sergeant at arms in a meeting. If Gina and friends don't like it, they shouldn't yell. And by the way, I apologize for yelling just a little while. I was excited when that darn thing just finally passed. No, you've done a heck of a job, Mayor. Excited to hear the news about cleanup day. Jess, volunteering like that. Did you already recruit your first volunteer? I haven't cleaned out of the room yet. And so it looks like cleanup day, something is going to happen. But I have to underline with appreciation what Jess said. This cleanup day is not going to look like the last one did, or the last 18 or 20. This one's going to look like this one looks. Couple of points about cleanup day. Scott's gone, but I'll say it here just because I hadn't heard that. Some of these are going to remember. Be careful when you're compacting the dumpsters with the backhoe, because you get them too heavy, they can't haul them off, and then you got to get in there with the hoe and take all that junk out of there. So be careful compacting the dumpsters. When Kiwanis had it, it didn't cost us anything, because I think the city or the sanitary paid for the dumpsters. And we use the money from, we haven't heard about a recycled bin. They put one pink bin there for the metals. And whatever goes in there, that brings back a little money. We'd pay for the lunches with that money. So that was the only expense we really shared. But I realized that wasn't the whole picture, because at that time, the sanitary and I believe the city were stepping up to cover the dumpsters. One thing we didn't hear, and Mike, like I said to you, I'm going to go with whatever you got. I just hope it happens. One thing I didn't hear anything about, though, was yard debris. We've talked about trash. We could have talked a little bit about recyclables. But Echo doesn't have a place like Stanfield has where they take their yard debris. Oh, I'm checking my watch too.
You're okay. You got 2 minutes.
I still have 2 minutes. I got 2 minutes, 55 seconds with that. So someplace for yard debris, please. That's gonna be important. Best wishes to you. And glad to see you getting in there, getting, what'd you say, the drinking from the fire hose?
Yes, yes, sir.
Baptism by fire, whatever they do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Appreciate you being here.
Thanks.
Nice attitude, obviously a capable man. Appreciate you being here. Joan? I'm sorry my joke about the sneaky feet kind of flopped, but you won anyway. And I don't know if I should congratulate you or not. We're obviously not out of the woods yet. There's a lot of work to do. And I wish you well. By the way, I was governor of Boise State in '74. I didn't know you went to Grill State. The EHA is going to have a party on May 30th. That's what used to be the Oktoberfest. Had to get moved because of the Oktoberfest was colliding too much with grape harvest. And we love our venue. And so we decided to move the date. So last year we moved it into June. This year it's on the 30th. Be a great party. We already got some good sponsors coming up. There'll be music, bluegrass in the early and rock at night, and lots of different food, of course, beer and wine and stuff. So that's the summer party for the Echo Heritage is on May 30th. And I think I already got some materials. Yep, to Ed at the office.
All right, Mike.
Yeah, I'm making sure that I'm. Yeah, you're right. Okay. Well, good luck to you. For crying out loud, a recall, that's totally unnecessary. I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. But good luck to you. And once again, I'm sincere when I say, whether I agree with you or not, thank you for your volunteer service. It's not easy to be a volunteer, especially when you're under the gun like this has been. So thank you for your service.
Thank you, Michael. Anyone else? Okay, then at this time, we'll excuse the public and we will go into executive session. So thank you all for coming.
Thank you. And Mayor, I did want to say this for the public that may be watching. I'm going to end the meeting, and forgive me, I'm not as technically sound yet on the YouTube. I just don't want any executive session material, but it will be reflected in the minutes. And this was called by myself because I just need direction from the council public, and this will be reflected in the minutes that we are not taking action. So I just wanted to be fully transparent with the public as to why I'm turning off the stream, because it's my ignorance at this point, but I'll figure out in the next, if we do this again, how to pause it. And so anyway, thank you.
Huh? Not me to plug in, just let me know.
Hey, Mike.
I didn't either.